Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to my channel. My name is Evan Mercer, and until that infamous Saturday evening, I genuinely believed my wife whenever she said, "I never impress anyone." She didn't say it during arguments. She said it casually, like an offhand comment. It's the way someone complains that the soup is too salty, or that the TV volume is one notch too high. A fleeting judgment, supposedly harmless. But words don't magically become harmless just because someone throws them around carelessly. The dinner was hosted by the Whitmore Foundation, a refined, old-money institution dedicated to preserving historic architecture in the Northeast. Lydia, my wife, had recently been hired there as a project liaison. Her first high-status role after years of flitting between marketing jobs. She quit over minor annoyances, like the lighting or her boss's cologne. The venue was a restored mansion outside Providence, Rhode Island. Marble floors gleaming like still water, chandeliers resembling frozen fireworks, and waiters moving with the precision of chess masters. Lydia had been buzzing for days about who would be there and how crucial it was to make a perfect impression. Ironically, the person most likely to sabotage her social ascent wasn't some outsider, it was me. In the car, she adjusted her lipstick in the visor mirror and said, "Please, Evan, tonight, just don't try to be interesting. You never impress these people. It's better if you just stay polite and invisible." Invisible. That word landed squarely in my chest like a dart. Yet, after years of subtle erosion, I forced a stiff smile and said, "I'll be on my best behavior." She kissed my cheek but missed entirely, grazing my jaw instead, already lost in thoughts of the imaginary audience she was about to captivate. Inside, the air smelled of truffle butter and burning money. People drifted through the rooms wearing smiles carefully crafted to suggest effortless success. I felt like a misfit Lego piece in a Tiffany jewelry box. Lydia immediately spotted her colleagues and moved toward them, while I lagged a few steps behind, playing the loyal shadow she requested. "Everyone, this is my husband," she said with the enthusiasm of someone introducing a chair. Functional, unremarkable, and certainly not the focal point of the room. Polite nods followed, and the group quickly resumed their conversation, treating me as if I truly didn't exist. I wandered toward the grand dining room, searching for a drink strong enough to dull the sting of feeling ornamental. A waiter offered champagne. I grabbed 2 glasses, one for me, one preemptively for Lydia, who would surely complain her hands were full. As I lingered near the long table, waiting for the dinner bell, I felt someone's gaze on me. "Excuse me," a voice said. I turned to see a woman step into view, tall with a sharp bob haircut, wearing a navy dress that probably cost as much as my first car. "Is that a vintage Langford watch?" she asked. I blinked. "Oh yeah, my grandfather left it to me." She smiled, a genuine smile, rare and uncalculated. "It's a factory model," I added. "He worked there until it closed." Her eyes softened. "A family piece. Even better." She extended her hand. "I'm Cecilia Rowe." Before I could respond, another woman approached in a champagne-colored gown with a pearl hair clip. "Wait, is that the Langford with a sapphire crown?" she asked, leaning closer. "I believe so." "Oh my God," she whispered. "My brother has been searching auctions for one. I didn't think any survived intact." Then a third woman wandered over, drawn by their excitement. "What are you looking at?" she asked, gasping. "No way. That's gorgeous." Suddenly, all 3 were bombarding me with questions. How it worked, how it remained in such pristine condition, its sentimental history. Their curiosity was disarming, genuinely interested. I wasn't used to being the center of attention at these events. Usually, I was background scenery. Yet as they talked, I relaxed, responding with more confidence than I thought I had left. Decades of collecting and repairing vintage watches weren't boring after all. These women leaned in, laughed, and listened. We must have talked for 10 minutes before I heard Lydia's voice slicing through the conversation. "There you are," she said, plastering on a smile. Cecilia beamed. "Your husband is quite the incredible family heirloom." Lydia blinked rapidly, caught off guard as if the spotlight she aimed at herself had suddenly shifted. "Yes, well, he has hobbies," she said, the word delivered like a pat on the head. The dinner bell rang, and everyone started searching for their place cards. I reached for mine and noticed something unexpected. The 3 women who'd been speaking to me were clustered around the seating chart, whispering sharply. "No, I'm sitting next to him," said the woman with the pearl clip. "Absolutely not," Cecilia countered. "I found him first." "Ladies," the third warned, "don't make me negotiate like last Thanksgiving." I thought they were joking. They weren't. They literally rearranged the place cards, each insisting on sitting to my right. By the time the dust settled, the seating chart around me looked like a presidential debate lineup. Lydia was frozen at the far end, staring as if witnessing a glitch in reality. Me, her supposedly unimpressive husband, had suddenly become the gravitational center of the evening. That's how the dinner began. But the night's chaos was far from over. Later, when Lydia and I stepped into the quiet foyer, leaving the soft classical music and clinking glasses behind, she turned to me, panic in her eyes. "What was that?" she demanded, voice low but trembling. I kept my hands in my pockets. "You're going to need to clarify. You know exactly what I mean, the attention, the theatrics." I laughed softly. "Talking about my grandfather's watch is now theatrics?" She accused me of trying to impress them. I was answering questions. They came to me. Her jaw tightened. They shouldn't have. That line hit harder than she expected. It wasn't about embarrassment. It was about me refusing to stay confined to the box she'd built. "I didn't want you to stand out tonight," she said. "No, Evan, I wanted to manage the narrative. This event was important. I needed everything controlled. And the problem is, you weren't controllable." She didn't respond immediately. She crossed her arms, pacing a small circle on the marble floor, her heels clicking like a metronome measuring frustration. "You made it seem like I underestimate you," she said at last. "You do." My eyes met hers. For a moment, her expression softened, vulnerable, almost scared, before hardening again. "You're twisting this. I'm stating it plainly." Behind us, laughter drifted from the dining hall, a world continuing on without seeking her permission, a fact that seemed to sting the most tonight. "We should leave," she muttered, striding toward the coat check without waiting for me. I trailed slowly, letting myself a few quiet seconds to breathe. It wasn't the argument that weighed on me. It was her genuine belief that I had committed a social sin simply by existing confidently. Outside, the cold air hit us sharply, jolting awake both body and mind. The valet sprinted to fetch the car as Lydia rubbed her arms and avoided meeting my eyes. Once we settled into the vehicle, she exhaled sharply. "I've worked so hard to connect with these people," she said. "Tonight was meant to show that I belong." "You do belong," I reassured her. "But that doesn't mean I have to shrink. You could have warned me that you planned to stand out." I smiled. "I didn't plan anything." "That's worse," she replied. We drove in silence for a while, rolling past dim neighborhoods and shuttered shops. Streetlights flickered across the windshield, painting brief shadows on her face. Finally, she spoke. "I just wish you wouldn't act like you're trying to outshine me." "I wasn't outshining you. I was being myself." Her breath caught nearly imperceptibly. "And you didn't think anyone would like that. I didn't think anyone would care for that part of you." "That part of me? That's just me." Silence returned. By the time we reached a red light near our street, her posture had slumped, exhaustion heavy in her frame. "I'm not used to being overshadowed," she admitted quietly. "That's because you keep choosing rooms as if the spotlight is only for you," I said. She didn't argue or defend herself, only stared through the windshield, letting the light change pass without pressing the gas. "Do you want me to apologize?" I asked. "No," she said softly. "I just want to understand. I walk in trying to be seen. You walk in and people notice you effortlessly. It makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong." Her honesty struck me. Not because it was profound, but because she rarely allowed herself to be vulnerable without masking it as irritation. "You're not doing anything wrong," I said. Maybe you're chasing the wrong kind of approval. People respond to authenticity. I wasn't performing. I was talking about something I care about. A slow exhale left her. And you think I'm not authentic? I think you panic, I said gently. You fear you're not enough. So you try to control everything. Everyone, even me. She lowered her eyes. It's hard being married to someone people are drawn to, she murmured. But you never let them see me. You told them I was boring before they even asked. Her lips pressed together. That wasn't fair. No, it wasn't, I admitted. We sat in quiet, two people who'd revealed more truth tonight than months of marriage had allowed. When she finally started the car, she said, "Next time, warn me if you're going to shine." I smiled. I wasn't shining. I was just talking about screws and gears. Exactly, she said softly, without bite. There was resignation there, and a flicker of awareness that something between us was shifting. We pulled into our driveway. Lydia didn't rush inside. She waited for me, standing under the porch light, looking at me. "You impressed them," she whispered. "I wasn't trying to." "I know," she said. "That's why it worked." Her voice sounded unsure, thoughtful, almost admiring. The first time that night it didn't sound sharp. But the night wasn't done. My phone buzzed with 3 new messages from unknown numbers. Cecilia, Natalie, and Sydney. Each thanking me for the conversation. Each asking to hear more about my work. Lydia watched silently as I read them, her face unreadable. That's when it hit me. It wasn't attention itself that bothered her. It was that, for once, the attention wasn't hers to control. Inside, I expected the usual routine. Lydia storms to the bedroom. I pour a drink. We pretend we'll talk tomorrow. But that night was different. As I hung my coat, Lydia lingered in the doorway, arms loosely crossed instead of tightly. The house felt quieter, less like a battleground, more like a pause. "You're really going to answer them?" she asked, nodding toward the buzzing phone. "I haven't decided," I said. She muttered without her usual bite. "You don't have to pretend. Those women practically offered to adopt you at the table." I smiled. I think they were more interested in my toolbox than in me. "That's worse," she said, raking a hand through her hair. "Tools aren't intimidating. People are." I stepped closer. "Lydia, what are you really afraid of?" Her shoulders relaxed slightly. "I'm afraid you'll realize you're more interesting than the life you built with me." That hit harder than anything said earlier. "You think that's what this is about? What else could it be?" she whispered. "They noticed you. They saw something special. You've never said that before." "Because I didn't think it mattered," she admitted. "I always assumed I was the one who had to shine. That was my strength, my contribution. You were," she paused, searching for words. "You were the stable, predictable one, the one who didn't try to outdo me. I never tried to outshine you. I tried to support you," I said. She sank onto the sofa's armrest. "Tonight felt like I'd been peeking at you through a keyhole. And when the door opened," she laughed softly, self-aware. "I saw someone who doesn't need me to speak for him." I sat across from her. "Lydia, when you told me to stay invisible tonight, that hurt." "I know," she whispered. "You didn't say it to protect me. You said it to contain me." She didn't deny it, just swallowed. "I didn't realize I was doing it," she admitted. "But I've been doing it for a long time." My phone buzzed again. Another message. Her eyes flicked toward it like it was a ticking bomb. "Do you want to see them again?" she asked. "I want to be treated like I matter," I said. "By anyone who provides that. Friends, strangers, it doesn't matter." Her voice thinned. "What about your wife?" "That depends," I said. "Do you want to treat me like I matter?" She stared, expression shifting from defiance to recognition to something like fear. "I don't want to lose you," she whispered. "But I don't know how to not feel threatened when you're impressive." "You don't have to be threatened," I said. "You could feel proud." She blinked rapidly. "I don't know how." "Learn," I said. "The same way I learned to support you." Silence fell, contemplative, not hostile. Finally, she came to stand before me. "Can you show me the photos?" she asked. For the first time in years, she studied my work, not with impatience or dismissal, but real curiosity. "These are beautiful," she whispered. "I've shown you some before." "I know," she admitted, "and I never really looked. That's on me." She sat on the edge of the armchair, fingers lingering on a half-restored watch, its gears exposed. "Why didn't you ever tell me how good you are?" "I did," I said, "just not loudly." She nodded, letting that settle. Then she handed me back the phone. "If you want to go to that Boston event," she said, "I won't stop you. That's not the same as supporting me. I'm asking for a chance to get there." Her honesty felt raw, real. I stood. Tonight wasn't about losing control. It was about showing you who I am and letting you decide whether that scares you or inspires you. She reached for my hand. I let her. "I don't want to be scared anymore," she said. "Then don't be," I said. We walked upstairs together, quietly, without tension dragging behind. The house felt lighter, the air truer. She paused at the bedroom door. "Can you promise me something?" she asked. "Depends. Promise you won't dim yourself again." That stunned me more than any argument earlier. "I won't," I said. "Good," she whispered, "because I want to learn how to stand next to you, not in front of you." And for the first time all night, I believed her.